everyone, this is Captain Dave and Ms Brooke, and we are today in, where are we? St. Joseph, Missouri. We're on our way up to Puyallup, Washington. I don't think I pronounced that well or correctly. Puyallup, Puyallup, Washington. We're taking a load of butterball turkeys up there, and we're excited because we're going to pass through some states that we haven't been through before. We're heading north up through Iowa, and then South Dakota and Montana, and then over into Oregon, and then finally up into Washington. So we're kind of excited to see some scenery that we haven't seen before. Stopped in this morning. I just got done with my drive. I drove out of where were we? Fort Smith, Arkansas was where we picked up these turkeys, and we're taking them on up to the state of Washington. So off on another adventure, but we wanted to stop and take a little bit of time to make a video. It's been a while since we've talked with you. We had great aspirations that we would make some videos while we were home, right?
You made a lot of videos, you just didn't post them all.
Well, I made some, but I didn't do them.
Did your interviews?
Oh yeah, I did those.
Trainers.
That was a while back. Those have all been posted. Don't. I don't want to talk about that because I haven't posted it. Yeah, there have been some other things that I haven't finished the content with, editing, and there are some things in the shoot that I do plan to get out for you. But hey, life is great. We had a fantastic time at home. We came back from home time last Tuesday, I think it was, yeah. And we had
whirlwind.
It was a whirlwind. We wanted to get at least one load in for the week so that we weren't completely in the hole coming off of home time, and we did. We got one short load in, but hey, when you're lease and you're paying for your co-driver, all those additional expenses add up. So even with all that and that one load that we had, we still ended up about $600 in the hole for the week, which, you know, like everyone says, you can't look at it week to week. We really don't. If I look at the last 6 weeks that we were out, we had a tremendous run. We just made a ton of money, and we had some great times, but I think you were ready to go home at the end of 6 weeks, weren't you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was a whirlwind. I think we spent most of our time catching up with a lot of people, which I think was wonderful.
Right.
But we didn't get a lot of chores done.
No, we didn't. We had doctor's appointments, and we had to take care of, you know, just administrative type things. We did an awful lot of doctor's appointments and eye appointments, and had dinner with family. My mom and dad are relocating they relocated now from Florida back up to another place that they have in Ohio so that they can be closer to my sister Shannon. And so we're happy for them, but kind of, you know, bittersweet too to see them go. They've been in Florida for a long time, but, you know, things change, situations change, and it's probably better as they get older for them to be up there.
The good thing is we're in Ohio a lot.
Yeah, strangely enough, like we always say, God has plans for us, and we find that we're in, they have a place that's in the Columbus area, and we find that we travel through Columbus area at least once a week or once every 2 weeks. We're always going back and forth between, you know, the East Coast and Ohio and Kentucky, and we have spent most of our time in the Midwest, which is great because that seems to be where the best freight is, and in the Southeast. And we've been out to the West Coast, I think, 3 times. This is our 4th trip out, and it's good. It's good. It's really good when you can get a load that pays well going west. We typically don't get that. We get the better paying loads coming back from California to the East Coast. But we're real happy with the deal we got on taking these turkeys out to Washington. Lots has happened, you know, a lot. I could talk about our last trip out and all the places that we went, and there are some specific topics on things that I want to talk about in future videos. Always try to stay positive. We're having a great time, but you know, when things do come up that are challenging for us, or we think that may be challenging for the trucking community in general or specific to Prime, I think it's important to talk about that. And there will be some things that I have ideas for some future content where we're going to make some videos and talk about just some experiences that we've had as we learn the ropes and we become, I guess, more productive. When we came out here, we had some pretty high aspirations on, you know, if we're going to make this change and it's going to be a lifestyle for us and we're going to not be at home and live on a truck, the payoff for that is we're going to make significantly more money than we did, you know, staying at home and being at home. And we have. We can't complain, but we really haven't met our goal. And I have to admit, I set a pretty high goal, but overall the money's been fantastic. But, you know, when we get loads that are really solo loads and we're out here as a team and making a sacrifice to have Brooke not be at home and be out here on the road with me, then, you know, we really want to expect that we're getting the majority of solo loads, but it really puts a hurting on us. I mean, yeah, we really want to get team loads, I'm sorry. Most of the time. When we don't, you know, it hurts us in a couple ways. One, we don't make the revenue because the truck's not moving virtually all the time. And then, you know, also when you factor in that sometimes we have to sit and wait. We had a load just a couple days ago. We sit and wait almost all the time. One time we waited 24 hours. This time we ended up getting into the 01 an hour early for our appointment at 1500 in the afternoon. And then we sat and parked and waited until about, I guess, 11 o'clock that night until they said, okay, you know, pull it back into the door now. I thought, great, we're going to get loaded. I guess they did, but they had us pull out, they had us unhook, pull away and go park in the staging area. Then around 2 o'clock, they called us and said, the guy came out and said, okay, we want you to now go back and hook up the trailer and go back to the staging area and we'll bring the paperwork out to you.
In a few hours.
In a few hours. So
around 4 in the morning.
The trailer was loaded. And then we pulled out, we went back and parked, laid back down again. 4 o'clock in the morning, the guy comes knocking on the trailer saying, oh, okay, here you go. Very friendly, but I mean, come on. First of all,
well,
you know.
Is, it was a solo load.
And
so
then
we spent all that time sitting there.
Yeah, when you couple the time waiting with the fact that we're a team running a solo load, it makes it really hard for us to meet our goals.
And that was just on the first end.
Yeah.
When we went to the 90, it was somewhat similar.
Yeah, we took that over
faster.
to that was when we went over to Berryville. Berryville is where we dropped that load off, right? Arkansas, yeah. And again, you know, there was some waiting there, and the whole trip ended up taking much longer than it should have for a solo load, and we're a team. So don't want to beat a dead horse, but, you know, we're really going to be having some conversations with our fleet manager, and he does a great job. But as we all know, the fleet manager doesn't really book the loads. It's sales that does that. And so it seems to me that if, you know, there's a team out here working as a team, it makes sense not only for that team, but for Prime to keep that team running on team loads financially. So we're gonna talk some more about and hopefully improve with that. However, if you ever go to what was the name of the
Middle of nowhere in Arkansas. It's on the back.
It is, no, that's Green River, Arkansas, but that's not Berryville. We delivered a Tyson load to Berryville, Arkansas, which is out in the middle of nowhere in West Arkansas. Beautiful, through the mountains, over the river and through the woods, all that kind of stuff.
Really pretty.
It was pretty and a beautiful place. And, you know, we frequently say, hey, wouldn't it be great to have some land here? That was one of those places with the rolling hills and all. But Brooke said, I wonder where they go grocery shopping, because there wasn't even a Walmart, you know, with anywhere in close proximity to this place. And, you know, here all of a sudden out of the ashes rose this big Tyson plant. And I said to Brooke, I'll bet you everybody in this county works here at Tyson. So
tell them about that place that we ate at.
Right. So on the way to Berryville, there is a little gas station called Hatman's One Stop if you can see that, Hatman's One Stop. And it's in a little town called Green Forest, Arkansas.
Open 24 hours.
Open 24 hours.
Grill is open 24
And
hours.
it's just like a greasy spoon kind of place, but it's good. It's fresh made. They have a great little menu here. And since we got there early in the morning, we had breakfast. But they did have a seating area, so they must have a busy lunch and dinner time. It's in a truck stop. It's nothing to look at. But if you want something different than the normal...
bathrooms, like really nice clean bathroom. And the place was clean, like they were vacuuming and wiping up the stuff just in the amount of time that we were there. And they had homemade food, like my biscuit. I had biscuit, egg, and bacon, and the biscuit was definitely homemade.
Right. And I had something called the loaded burrito, and it had everything in the world, whether it was about this big. And I almost couldn't. In fact, I didn't eat the whole thing. I gave part of it to Felix here. Felix, you see, Felix is with us too, our dog. Hey, Phil. We brought him out on the road with us this trip. And if we didn't talk about it before, our little dog Felix is sick. He has adenocarcinoma in his nasal cavity, so cancer that is aggressively growing. And so far, he's not in pain, but he does have discharge and blood that comes from his nose. So we have to be real careful in his truck, and we always try to keep a towel under him and try to make him as comfortable as we can for as long as we can. But we saw the vet, I guess, back probably 4 months ago, and at that time he told us that Felix probably only had a couple months to live, but he's still with us and he's doing fine, and praise God, because we can't tell you how much joy this little dog brings to us. And he seems to be real happy being out here on the road with us. For the last 2 trips out, we left him at home with Aunt Darla because she's an animal lover. She has a dog, and we thought he would be more comfortable, being there with them. But, he just tells us in his own way that he misses us. And, honestly, if he's with us, he's the happiest. So we're glad he's here. We're thankful for her, for the care that she gave him. But he's still doing well. So
we're still keeping her busy with our chickens.
Yeah, and she's still taking care of the chickens. And there's another thing. I so wanted to do a video with her because she's so entertaining. She knows these chickens. Darla's one of these people that she thinks that animals are just like people. She talks to animals as if they're people, like they
Most
understand the words that she's saying to them. No. This goes beyond. This is not like most people. She'll be like, "What do you think about that?" And I think she's talking to me, and I turn and she's talking to the dog. And I think she thinks the dog answers her. So Darla,
he does answer her, and she'll tell you that.
Yeah, right. Sure. I know she does say that. But anyway, love her. She's an animal lover, and we appreciate her so much, and glad to have her at the house. She's helpful to us in so many ways. So just another one of those things where God knew better than we did. And when we had Darla come and stay with us, ostensibly it was to help us out, but to help her out. We thought, because she had some bad living conditions, and we brought her in to stay with us. But as it turned out, we decided to come on the road in truck, and she stays at our house and kind of takes care of things for us there.
It's been a blessing.
She's been a real blessing. So
she saves our eggs for us, and I didn't have to give up my chickens.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that was good. And so, that kind of segues into something that I wanted to talk about today. I think that when we started the channel, we wanted to talk about trucking, and we certainly want to talk about our adventures and how it might be different, and maybe what it's like to be a husband and wife team, brand new to trucking, being out here together and adventuring and figuring out how to do it. And certainly we're going to talk about those things as they come up.
It was a long summer.
Brooke says it was a long summer. Why do you say that?
August was a grumpy month.
Grumpy?
Grumpy month.
Who was grumpy?
We were grumpy.
Oh, we both were?
We were grumpy.
Who was primarily grumpy?
We were.
Okay. Well, why do you think that is? Why were we grumpy?
You know what? Honestly, I think you don't get to sleep well when the other one's driving, and some communication communication.
Right. We've talked about communication before. Both of us know in our head what we're trying to say, and I think because we're married, in some ways we take each other for granted, and it's kind of like, come on, you should know this. We've been together a long time, but we're doing something new that we haven't done before. An example of that is when I'm trying to coach Brooke in backing. And there have been, some escapades with that and some frustrations. We continue to have communication issues with that. She'll tell me that I did exactly what you told me to do, and then I'll say, well, but you didn't put the truck in the hole. But she goes, well, but I did what you said to do.
Because your instructions didn't work.
Right. She would tell me that I'm poor. I do a poor job with giving instructions. So
no, I just don't say poor. I just say you still need some practice instructing.
Well, if what I say doesn't help you to get the truck in the hole, it's pretty poor, isn't it?
Well, but I feel for you out there trying to figure it out. I'm sympathetic.
Right. And then there's a certain amount, we get to a point where I'm just like, okay, just put it in a hole. And, sometimes she can and sometimes she can't, because she gets frustrated with me and I get frustrated with her action, which I feel like she's not listening to me, but many times it's just an interpretation.
Sometimes you give me the kind of help that I don't need.
Right. Like she'll even tell me, I didn't need you to tell me that. I just kind of need you to stand back there and
just make sure I don't hit something.
So I said, all right, so I'll just be back there, and if you need me, you let me know.
With your arms crossed and a grumpy look on your face.
Because I say, all right,
your way.
turn to the left, turn to the left, turn to the left. She said you turn into the right. So,
I'm not.
Sometimes you do, yeah. But that's all right, because we're both learning.
So it was a long grumpy August. Hence the other videos and not our videos.
Yeah. We have to both be in the right headspace to make a video,
You said
right?
you were afraid to let me on camera.
Yeah, I was. And you said you were afraid I was going to drop you off at the truck stop, didn't you?
I was.
Yeah. Well, neither one of those things happened. So we're still here and we're still at it, and we're both still very much committed to this.
But back to where you were going, we get a lot of questions about what we're doing at home, just as much as we get questions about what it's like to be on the truck together. People are interested about the chickens and about what we are doing, how we are trying to store some food and things, how we're trying to kind of homestead while we're on the truck, because Auntie Darla's there and then we're home once a month, and so we're trying to figure out ways that we can still store our food.
And food keeps coming up, and I don't want you to think that we're like gluttons or anything. But the issue is, if you're following what's going on in the world, if you, and I wouldn't even say watch the news, because you really can't find a news source that gives you valid, accurate information, or you can't trust what you hear in the news. But in talking to anybody,
prices of food are outrageous.
General consensus is that we're going to come into a time in the not too distant future where food will certainly be short. Some parts of the world will not have food, and they're projecting that many people in the world will starve to death. We're not hearing yet that we're going to have that issue in the U.S. I believe that there will be some food, but already we're seeing that the shelves don't have on them what they had even a few months ago.
And the prices
are unbelievable, and are projected to more than double again over the next year. And I guess if you don't know anything about the food chain, truly the food that we're eating right now was harvested, canned, prepared a year and a half ago. Not the meat, but any canned foods, beans and vegetables and that kind of thing. So it takes a while for the issues that are going on right now in the farming community, with the drought, with the weather, with the effects of the things that are going on with the climate. All of those things combined have kind of created a perfect storm for shortages and our country's ability to produce our own food, not only here in America but worldwide. So I really want to encourage all of you to make plans for that in whatever way you can. I'm not it's the end of the world kind of thing. I've never been that, but I do think that you need to keep your eyes open and be conscious of world events and what's coming, because we are coming in a time that is expected to get worse. In fact, a lot worse before it gets better. Tougher times for all of us. And here's the thing, we don't stay at home. We are truckers, and we stay out for 6 or 8 weeks or more at a time. So that means that our time at home becomes very, very valuable. And so when you do go home, please take the time to spend a little time to put back some extra food in some way. If you check the LDS website, the Latter-day Saints, they are the Mormons are very big on food storage. They always have been, being prepared. They all suggest, this is one of the tenets of their church, is that you have 1 year of food put back, so that if there were no food, you'd be able to survive. And they
That's good advice on any day.
Oh, it really is. But I share that. You can go to LDS.org, and they have storehouses around the country where they sell like 50-pound bags of rice and pasta and beans and things that are like staples that you would need to cook, that you could survive on. Now,
we're used to preparing for hurricanes anyway.
Yeah. In Florida, we're always prepared short term for that kind of thing. But
electricity, or 2 weeks, and
yeah, but we're on a mission now to have 1 year's worth of food put back, and so we're working on that first. But
it's tricky on the road.
It is tricky. One of the things that we've done is we've recently purchased a Harvest Right freeze dry machine, which is pretty pricey. It was a big investment for us, thousands of dollars, but we feel like that's going to be good on two fronts. One, we're going to be able to freeze dry foods that will have 20 or 30 years of shelf life on them, and buy it now while you can still get it, and freeze dry it and put it up, and you'll have it to mix and make food with.
But the bonus
later on.
It's easy to take on the truck.
Yes. So one of the things that we've struggled with on the road is eating healthy food. We have a big old refrigerator in the back, and already several times we've filled it up with food, with fresh food, and it's gone bad before we've had the time to prepare it into meals. We're just not to the point where we're real comfortable yet in shutting down, taking the time to make meals and then get back on the road.
I think it's trickier as a team to find that time where you can actually get back there and pull out the skillet, or cut and chop some food to throw into the it's not a crock pot, an Instapot.
In the Instapot.
Whereas if you were a solo driver, you have a little downtime where the truck is stopped. But it's really tricky to get stuff done in the back while the truck is bouncing all over the roads. So sometimes the produce will go real quick or something.
So anyway, if you watch some of these, you can check out Harvest Right freeze dry machines, and they have just a ton of videos on YouTube that tells you how to make like a 1 pound pack of hamburger meat. That boom, it's right there. It's freeze dried. It's ready to go. All you do is add back the water. It's already cooked. So that part is done, and you can throw it into an Instapot or whatever with your noodles or your veggies or whatever you want to do, just to make it easier to make healthy things out here. And I'm all about that kind of food. I mean,
you're super excited to start playing with one.
I really am. I mean, what my plan is when we go home, I'm going to make take a bunch of hamburger, and you can buy these 10-pound chubs, these big round things at Sam's Club, and so you cook the meat just like you brown the hamburger. Drain the grease off of it, you put it on the pans, you put it into the freeze dry machine, and 24 hours later you pull it out, and it's like crumbly,
you can do a whole
dry
meal.
food.
Like you can do spaghetti.
Yep.
And like already made spaghetti, put the sauce on the spaghetti and just add water to it later.
So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do two things. We're gonna put back food at home, and we're gonna bring pre-made stuff out onto the road, because for those that are in trucking already, it doesn't take long at all to get sick of the choices that you get at the truck stops, and they're horribly unhealthy. So we're fighting the battle of the bulge just like everyone is, and we're going to have to take some measures to make sure that we have healthy choices so that we can continue to stay out here and keep trucking on our simple 5-year plan.
It just reminded me of that one place we found this summer, that I don't want to call it a pub because it wasn't a pub.
Yeah, we'll have to cover it in another video.
No, you have a picture of the menu, and I have some pictures.
Oh.
We can insert them, but it was, I thought we were going to Cracker Barrel, and then there was this little, was it Scottish or English?
It was like an English pub, yeah.
But it wasn't like a pub. I
Yeah.
mean, they served alcohol, but it had the most fabulous food. It was such a lucky find. I was so excited. So
Did I have the fish and chips, or did you?
you got the fish and chips.
What'd you
I
get?
got like a beef stew or something.
Yeah, beef stew, and they had like bangers and mash.
We
and that
tried
kind of thing.
everything. We tried appetizers and the food, and she made us a little fancy coffee drink, and it was just fun. And they had plenty of space for truck parking.
Yep.
So I'll have them insert some pictures. I don't remember where it was, but
And I don't even remember the name, but you'll see it. It'll be. I'll put
there's a big
picture of it.
billboard sign for it at the exit.
And it was in Michigan, wasn't it?
It was a funny name. Was it Gas something?
I don't
Gas
remember.
City or something?
Maybe.
It was kind of a funny name. Anyway, that's another great place to eat. I'll have to put some pictures up.
Right. Then we will. Just consider in your lives what you need to do. Just encouraging you guys out there to make plans at home for when you do have to be at home. Hey, we never know when this whole thing's gonna come to a point where either we can't make any money in it, or things will change in the world that will change trucking maybe drastically. So we're all riding this horse for as long as we can.
And we're staying positive.
And we're staying positive, and we're saving as much money. We're a positive channel, yeah. But we can't be the positive voice in trucking because that's Kiersey. We have to say something
I
else.
didn't know that.
Yeah, Kiersey is a positive voice in trucking.
Tell them who Kiersey is. In case they
Kiersey.
don't know.
Yeah, Kiersey is another Prime driver. Most of you that watch the channels know that. Trucking along with Kiersey, she was a big help to me when I first started doing research on trucking. She answered a lot of questions for me, and she is now a PSD trainer, but I think she still does TNT too. I see that she's out on the road with students. So,
Did you tell them you did an interview with Twisted Big D?
well, I think I put a link on my channel where they could watch that. Most of you have probably already seen our interview. You mean? Yeah,
That was fun.
Daniel, Twisted Big D, and Tennessee Flatbedder Thomas, they both sat down with Brooke and I and asked what it was like being a married team on the road. So you can check that out on his channel. But lots of good things happening for us. Lots of other news down the road that we'll probably talk about at a later time. Have a young man that we kind of spent a lot of time with growing up. I used to be a high school teacher, and I taught him in high school, and he lived in our community, and he went off to the military, got out of the military. Anyway, long story short, he may be coming into Prime and getting into trucking. So we'd be proud to have him join us, and always glad to see new people come in, see people stick around. So many people just in our short time that started when we did have moved on and are doing other things. So believe it or not, I'm coming up on my year. I went to orientation the last week of September, first week of October, and I finally, after a long delay because of my bout with COVID, got my CDL on the day before Thanksgiving. And so coming up on my year, it's gone by very quickly. Brooke will have her first year in February or March, something like that, right?
Well, the end of March is when I started my...
When you passed your CDL.
30,000, yeah.
Yeah. So
When I started my TNT.
time flies. So we are here. We're on our way out to the West Coast. We're making our way back again to the East Coast. We're still in week 1 of this run. So we'll be out at least 5 more weeks. And we're going to work real hard to get some quality content out to you. If you have anything that you'd like for us to talk about specifically, please let us know. If there's anything you want to know about us, we'd be happy to talk about that. And hey, if you're enjoying our videos, please ring the bell, click the subscribe button. You know, tell other people about our channel. It really helps. We're getting up there, getting close to 1,000 subscribers now, so we're excited about that. And my driver code, if you want to come to Prime, is GRAJDA. You can use that, or if you'd prefer, you could use Brooke's driver code as your referral code. And what is that? GRABPR, and I'll put those down on the bottom so you can commit them to memory. So we're glad to be back on the road. I'm glad to spend a little bit of time talking with you both. And any parting words?
If you see us out there, stop us and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so cool when you're not just at the terminal, but when you're at a truck stop and somebody will come up to you and say, "Hey, aren't you Captain Dave? And where's your wife?" or something like that.
It's fun to meet people.
We love it. I think
that's the best part of doing the videos, is getting to meet people that we probably wouldn't get to meet.
Yeah, the community. I mean, it's just, I say it all the time. I love Prime. Everyone is so supportive. Everyone kind of looks out for each other. I told Brooke yesterday, it's so cool when you're at a shipper receiver and there's another Prime driver there, and you just have this comfort level of going up and talking to them, or if they come up and knock on your window, hey, it's almost like it's family. You know, we work for the same company.
I even have people, so if you're driving down one way of the highway and they're driving down the other, if you look and you pay attention, the other driver, we give each other the high five or whatever, and you can see it on the other side of the highway, so it's kind of funny.
Glad to be here. It's a great company, and almost 1 year in, we only have good things to say. It's not without its challenges, but the challenges aren't so much with Prime. The challenges are with us learning how to be professional drivers and learning how to be with each other 24/7. But we're still here, slugging away. Good talking with you. You all have a great day. It's Captain Dave and Ms Brooke with Simple Plan Trucking, and we'll see you out there on the road.